Welcome to the first topic of this Building Resilience course, a resilience approach for expecting the unexpected. I am Juliet Cortez, and specialist on the collaborative management of water-related hazards. What does resilience mean to you is the first presentation of this topic, addressing a fundamental question that we would like to look at before diving into the details of building resilient systems. We expect that when you complete this presentation and topic, you will be able to define resilience and its three complementary capacities. Moreover, we hope that you will be able to explain resilience with examples from your work, including but not necessarily limited to humanitarian WASH. Many guidelines and manuals have been released over time to help the planning and design of water, sanitation, and hygiene, often referred altogether as a WASH sector. The Sustainable Development Goals have increased the focus on the sustainability of the WASH services and the overall aim of building more resilient water and sanitation systems. When preparing this course, we tried our best to align to existing guidelines as much as possible. So, on every slide, we are referring to the supporting document for you to be aware of. The many challenges to secure water and sanitation for all and the need for informed and collective action has also increased the interest of building resilient WASH systems. Having that said, let's start by acknowledging that we can look at resilience from different levels. A resilient person is empowered with the knowledge, skill, and competences to deal with problematic situations and adapt to new situations to improve his or her life and the one of the community. A resilient household has members who are resilient themselves. At community level, the aim is to strengthen the resilience of its individuals and households. The development and maintenance of a given social services, in this case, water and sanitation, has a network of actors and factors at a local, regional, national, and global level influencing the way such a service is delivered, which either strengthen or weaken the resilience of the community and the service itself. Therefore, we look at resilience from a systems perspective, to consider the interconnections between the actors, namely the key stakeholders that directly or indirectly influence the system, including public, private, technicians, civil society and users, and the social, technical, environmental, institutional and financial factors influencing the system's functioning and its outcomes over time. In this course, we aim at improving the resilience of the WASH services in fragile contexts, taking as an example for the group assignment the case study of a water supply system. Overall, in fragile contexts, the WASH services are often not up to the minimum standards and are further weakened by internal and external shocks and stresses, also called hazard events. Why do we envision WASH resilient services following a system perspective? Such systems perspective allow us to consider the multiple interconnections between actors and factors when planning, providing and sustaining WASH services over time, and help us to better align isolated project interventions such as constructing an infrastructure, training voluntary and local committees, and sanitation and hygiene initiatives. Before going into the details of building resilient systems, let's reflect what does the term resilience mean to you. Let's think about an example that you could share during the workshop live session. We often think about resilience as a means to become stronger or less vulnerable. However, resilience is the ability of a system, community, or society to cope, adapt, and transform to better recover from hazard events in a timely and efficient manner, without compromising the long-term prospects of development. The last part is important because some systems or communities may consider themselves resilient at the expenses of their own well-being or the sustainability of its services over time. In practice, resilience is about embracing change and improving the performance when dealing with problematic situations. A problematic situation is defined as the gap between the current and desired to the desired situation. And it's here resilience requires us to move away from simply looking at what an individual, household, or system has and recognize and enhance the way such a person or system performs to better deal with hazard events, either due to the stresses over long time or sudden shocks. Therefore, a resilient performance is built upon three complementary capacities: the coping or absorptive capacity to return to the initial condition or status quo, the adaptive capacity to evolve and adapt via an incremental change, and the transformative capacity that refers to a radical change addressing the underlying causes of the problem. These are three complementary capacities because we progressively build them. Simply stated, the coping or absorptive capacity helps us to bounce back after a shock or stress occurs. It involves planning for anticipating, preparing, mitigating, or preventing the expected negative consequences. The adaptive capacity is about making intentional incremental adjustments in anticipation of or in response to shock or stresses in ways that will create more flexibility in the future. It is necessary because change is ongoing and uncertain, and because intentional transformation takes time and sustained engagement. In the photos, we show the example of a resilient coastal city that suffers from regular flooding and inadequate water services. To prevent further damage to their homes, some coastal communities adapt the way their houses are built and invested in infrastructure to benefit from floods. The transformative capacity is the ability to make intentional change to stop or reduce the causes of risk, vulnerability, poverty, and inequality. In the photos, we see an Oxfam example in which processes of learning and innovation enable fishing communities to adopt a new technology and enhance their adaptive capacity. Moreover, existing power relations were changed between landowners with support of the government. Such radical change required the many actors to become proactive agents of deeper social change. To help you in defining resilience and listing examples of resilience capacities within your work, we ask one of the lecturers involved in the IHE graduate program in Humanitarian WASH to reflect on their professional experiences and recall one of the most resilient moments.
As a civil engineer, I was passionate about addressing water supply and wastewater challenges, particularly in low income areas in South Asia. Starting my professional life in a consulting firm and also working hand in hand with the communities, I realized that on site and small scale treatment plants were particularly needed in peri urban areas. I started a PhD research to better tackle this challenge. However, after deepening my technical expertise, it was hard for me to find a job. I want to share some examples how I built my personal and project resilience. Firstly, I was able to adapt my professional profile by working as self-employed consultant for wash related projects. Secondly, there were two interesting projects from the resilience perspective. In one of them, we had to build water supply points that were least affected by flood, which was done by identifying points at higher elevation and raising the platform of water points. In the other hand, we helped community to prepare for floods by providing them with hygiene kits before the start of the rainy season. As a civil engineer,
To conclude with the take-home message of this presentation, a systems thinking approach considers the interconnections between the multiple actors and sustainability dimensions. Resilience helps us to perform in problematic situations and embrace change via three complementary and progressive capacities to cope, adapt, and transform. However, building resilience capacities requires to improve the performance of the system as a whole. So, where to start? Watch the next presentation for some hints.